Good evening. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa. Today I'm going to be reviewing Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, a modern Prometheus. The actual book I have now read. There's always a glare, huh? There we go. From 1818 was when it was published. So this is a long time ago, 200 years ago. This was so enjoyable. I highly recommend it. October is coming, so I am going through a phase of wanting to read the horror classics. And to my surprise, I was a little scared to pick it up. I've never liked horror movies, I've never liked anything scary. But to my surprise, this was probably the most beautiful book I've ever read. It was so beautifully written. It was not scary at all. It was poetic. It was insightful. It was high intelligence. It was just beautiful. It was enjoyable. And especially in a world today where nothing online is enjoyable, I really enjoyed turning off social media and reading Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. So, um, a little bit of background about Mary Shelley. She was 18 when she wrote this, which blew my mind and is so humbling. The way that she writes is so gorgeous and intelligent. So it really was a shocker of how far down our education has gone if an 18-year-old was writing something as beautiful as this. By the way, I hope y'all appreciate in the background my fall spooky candle and pumpkin. That's for you and for me while we're talking about spooky Frankenstein. But anyway, so Mary Shelley was 18. She also had the weirdest life. Apparently, there was a movie about her that I haven't watched yet from 2018 called Mary Shelley with Ellie Fanning. It's on Amazon Prime, so I plan to watch it. But this poor girl came from a super weird and dysfunctional background. Her dad was an atheist and an anarchist and a popular one at that, but that meant he was a social outcast. Same with her mother. Her mother was one of the first feminists, which also made her a super outcast. And so, anyway, her mom died 11 days after giving birth to Mary. And that made Mary the daughter of an outcast, two outcasts, really. So she always kind of felt like she was out of the loop. And of course, she didn't have any proper Christian or religious upbringing. It was atheism and anarchism and feminism. So that's kind of how she was raised. She ended up hooking up with this guy, Percy, when she was 16 in a church graveyard. The guy, Percy, was married at the time. The two of them ended up eloping to Geneva. And Percy's wife, so the guy's wife, ended up unaliving herself when she found out the news and drowned in a river. So that's the start of this happy couple and of Mary when she was 16, 17, 18. So then they got to they also took her stepsister. She had a stepsister named Claire who was trying to hook up with another big poet at the time, Lord Byron, who was famously this degenerate. He was people thought of him maybe as a pedo. He always carried a condom in his back pocket. So they were the talk of the town at Lake Geneva. And apparently they spent a summer there, the four of them. Mary, this guy, Percy, he became her husband. And then the stepsister, Claire, and Lord Byron. And the neighbors would watch them with a telescope across the lake, hoping to get some dirt on this dirty little commune across the water. So at that summer commune at Lake Geneva, I guess Lord Byron, the poet, the degenerate poet guy, said we should all write a ghost story. And so Mary Shelley participated in this, and that is where Frankenstein came from. She had this horrific waking dream and she wrote Frankenstein. And apparently it's hearsay, but her husband said, well, that's pretty good, I guess, for a girl or for a woman, some version of that. But I thought that was funny because Frankenstein became such a massive hit and such a cultural icon. So and she was 18. So I thought that was super interesting. Um, and then, of course, I have to say the end of her life was pretty weird. Her husband died so Percy ended up dying of a shipwreck, and they tried to cremate his body, but his heart wouldn't burn. Apparently, it stayed intact. So some speculate it was because of some weird illness, but it didn't burn. So Mary put it in silk and then wrapped it in silk and kept it in her desk for 30 years after he died. So that's Mary Shelley. Um, anyway, all right. So that's who wrote this book. Now, about the book. So it's written from the standpoint of this guy, Captain Walton. Walton? Yes, Walton, who is sailing in major ambition, trying to discover the icy tundras of Antarctica. And he's with his shipmates and he finds this guy floating on ice. They rescue him. He's half dead from fatigue, if not more so. That guy turns out to be Victor Frankenstein. And so in the book, then you hear Victor Frankenstein recalling all of his life events to Captain Walton on the ship as he's dying. So shocker, Frankenstein is not the monster. Victor Frankenstein is the mad scientist guy. And the creature actually never gets a name. Also, in the book, it's different than the movie. So when we think about Frankenstein, I assume you're like me, where I think about Hollywood and specifically the 1931 movie, which is where Frankenstein's this horrible looking, mute, just murderer guy. That's not how Frankenstein's monster is in here. Frankenstein's monster is definitely hideous, but he has a heart and he just wants to be part of the community, and all the humans are shunning him and being mean to him and hurting him. And he's very intelligent as well. He hides in this little hut near this cute family, and he wants to be part of their family because he sees all this love between them. He ends up learning the language. So, oh, by the way, Victor abandons him. So he's trying to figure out how to function in the world by himself. But he's very intelligent. He ends up reading Milton's Paradise Lost, which Mary Shelley was aware of because Milton lived at Lake Geneva around I don't know if it's around the same time or before, but she had read his work and was very moved by it. So Frankenstein's monster read that as well. So yeah, and then I'm not going to spoil the ending for you, but it's a tale of basically, well, I guess I can give a little bit more, but Frankenstein gets really mad at his creator because his creator abandoned him and left him to fend for himself with no ability to communicate. He's hideous. Humans don't like him. He's lonely. He gets angry. So it's a story of isolation and revenge, rage, murder, madness. Victor Frankenstein's character, you can kind of get in his head as he just devolves into just complete madness and rage and fear. So yes, and I won't ruin the ending for you because I highly encourage you to read it. I guess from, an Orthodox perspective, it was a little bit of a different read. I know so many people are mad at God, and this seems to be like Victor Frankenstein is the bumbling, silly creator God who made a mess of his creation. And so that more of a Gnostic viewpoint. But anyway, it's angry at God, and I think there's so many people that are angry at God, and this is the type of stuff that comes out of that, unfortunately. But it is beautiful, and it is a story of the heart. So I enjoyed it, guys. I really did. I think that it's worth the read, especially during October, which is my favorite month of the year, for many reasons. But yes, Frankenstein, Mary Shelley. I think that is all I have for you guys. Yeah, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful read, and let me know in the comments what you think. I read them all, and I will talk to y'all real soon. Happy reading. Frankenstein, Mary Shelley.